Morning everybody, it's David at Poe Run. Another day. This morning I'm going to be working on the barn, trying to frame up the first wall so that I can figure out grade for the second wall, etc., just to make sure what my height is, because it's not 8 feet, it's 7 and something, so I got to figure out what that number is. Last night I went through with my laser level and marked off where all my studs are, so that I can put in or measure for the studs to make sure the right height and its level. Again, this is going on top of the block wall. It's always just a little off. So for me to have a dead flat top on this little pony wall, so to speak, that I'm making, I need to make sure that all the studs are the right length. This is a stud I marked when I had the laser out and it was dark enough to see it. I marked where that was going to be on every single one of them, and then I measured that distance and wrote it down. So now I know where my variation is. So this one is 13/16, so I have 7/8 here. So again, the whole point is now I can measure and cut every one of my studs to make sure they're the right length, so that my top plate is going to be nice and flat on one side. Morning everybody, it is now Wednesday, and working on the building again this morning for a little while before it gets too hot out. And last night before I quit, I went through and got grade. So over on the far wall, basically what I did is I set up my laser level over on the far wall. I made a mark, measured up from the mark to the top of my wall to figure out the height that I am at, because again, this is not, it's flat but it's not level, right? So there's variations along the wall, etc. So I have a number for over there, which is, for whatever it's worth, at 65 3/4. And then what I did is also I took grade on this wall, on my sill plate itself, using the exact same height of the laser level, which, obviously the level's not there, but on the laser level, I took the same height, and then marked that on every spot on my post. And I had to do this a couple of times. And what that basically is that number 23 in this case is the height of the first measurement plus the height of the other measurement is the total height of this one post. There's only a variation of about 1/4 inch or even 1/8 of an inch along this length, which is pretty darn good considering I am not a professional by any stretch of any imagination. As a teaser for the beam to go in, the beam is going to be made from 2x10s, and it's going to be a 4-ply. I am not going to be using the SDW system per se. It's going to be nailed, and because I have extra SDW screws, I will be using some of the screws down the center of it, but because it's a 2x10, it's going to get nailed from every angle and side. But I'm also not going to be gluing the beams either. And the reason behind that is because if you have the right combination of fasteners, it will work. And when I've checked with, all this research that I've done about the glue itself, gluing the beams, would be great if you didn't need any fasteners, but I'm going to use fasteners, so why glue it kind of idea. If you have any different opinion, please let me know in the comments below. I know the other side is I could glue it and I could nail it and I could screw it, but I'm trying to think, well, what's my advantage here? What am I getting? Am I getting more holding strength, or am I just, spending more money? And again, it's not a column that could, split open from the pressure. It's a beam, and the beam is going to be supported at least every 8 inches here on the middle wall, and it's going to be supported at every 8 feet, 3 inches approximately down at the bottom. And again, the span will work for over 9 feet. So I'm fine with those 2 items. So as long as I get the beam secured, all the boards secured to each other, I should be totally fine. Anyway, let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas about that. Morning, Blue. Anyway. Okay, my first cut that I'm going to be making is my measurement at each one of my posts. All right, so in this particular one, I'm at 23 inches, which means I measured 23 inches up to grade. That same 23-inch mark was here on the wall. From that part going straight up from there is about 65 3/4. The beam that I'm making, again, is 2x10s, which are 9 1/4 inches approximately thick. So ultimately my cut is going to be 9 1/4 inches short of that height, but because I want to verify everything is correct before I actually go and cut everything off and find out I'm an inch short somewhere, I'm going to cut 1 or 2 of these. I'm going to shoot grade again. I'm going to verify my height to make sure everything is actually perfect, and then I will go through and cut the rest of the posts. This out, but there's a line here, and I've marked it on my 2 posts. Both these posts are plumb. All right, I'm only off by 1/8 of an inch, which I know everybody says that's actually good, but I want to see if I can do better when I make my final cuts. That's just me. All right, I got 2 of my posts stood up and bolted in, but I have been debating this whole idea of how am I going to get a 4-ply 2x10 by 34 foot long beam up here. And you know, you can build it up there, sure, but that sounds like a lot of extra work. It's not like I can set up scaffolding, you know, etc. It would be just a whole lot of work to move a ladder around as I'm constantly nailing 34 feet of stuff up. So my idea was build it on top of something here and roll it up the hill, and then place it. I don't know how easy that's going to be. Morning everybody, David with Run, and just starting up. Let me turn off the tunes. Just starting up for the morning. Got this beam put up as you saw, and I got a couple more to go. And I'm sure that if somebody out there from OSHA were to complain, yes, I'm sure these are officially like too low because I have to duck, and maybe I should put tape on it or something, but I know they're there and I'm the one working. So here we go with the last post. Last 2 posts are going to get done now, and supports for them, and then after that I'm going to figure out my details for my beam. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys like what you're seeing and you want to see more of the videos, please don't forget to hit subscribe, and I love your comments, so don't forget to comment down below, especially if I've done something really wrong, or maybe I did something really cool and you thought you could do it too. So anyway, I appreciate it, really appreciate it a lot, and thanks again for tuning in. 60 more of those to carry. All right, so last one's up. Ugliest 2x4 on the planet, I'm pretty sure. I'm not really sure why that was even on my stack, considering it. I picked them with some help, but oh well, things happen. So here's what we got. There's an angle you haven't quite seen yet for the first floor and where the joists are going to go. So again, over here we got a beam running across. That's going to get built somewhere on this, you know, supports, and then I'm going to roll it down, lift it up. It's going to be 34 feet long, so it's got to extend past this one. I got one more column to put in about 4 feet away. That'll go in here in a second. And then my floor joists are going to span from the top of this wall. It'll get a ridge plate. What's the name of that? Anyway, and with my columns being set and everybody happy, this is now what it looks like. So this part is done. Thanks for tuning in one more time, and I'm gonna start working on this beam.